Mahabharatam Dharma Adharma Sangharshanam.
Drupada was the ruler of Panchala. He had once been defeated by Arjuna and disgraced by Drona. He was burning with anger and wished to be avenged on Drona. He performed a sacrifice known as Vaishana in order to have a son who could kill Drona. At the end of the sacrifice, the Yaja, that is, the priest officiating at the ritual, asked Drupada's wife to come and receive the oblation. She was late in coming, and so the oblation was offered to the fire god. At once, a young man, glowing like a god and wearing a crown, carrying a bow and arrows and holding a sword, rose from the flames. The people of Panchala Desha were delighted with this sight. A little later, an enchantingly beautiful dark young woman rose from the flames. The young man, quick-tempered and endowed with a crown at birth, a young man of rare prowess, was given the name of Drishtadhyumna. The dark-complexioned young woman was called Krishna. Because she was the princess of Panchala, she came to be known also as Panchali, and because she was Drupada's daughter, she came to be called Draupadi too. Drupada had another name, Yajnasena, and so Draupadi came to be called Yajnaseni also. Though Drona had turned his enemy, Drupada had great respect and admiration for Drona's mastery over weapons. He sent his son Drishtadhyumna to Drona for education. Drona knew Drishtadhyumna's mission. He knew that one day he would kill him, but he reflected that no one could go against the will of destiny and taught him as best he could without holding anything back. Draupadi, the enchanting daughter of Drupada, waxed more and more beautiful as the days passed, like the moon in the bright half of the month. She was a light to the beholder's eyes. She reached the age of marriage. Drupada was convinced that in every way, appearance, conduct, education, Arjuna was the right husband for her. Although Arjuna had defeated him, Drupada nursed no enmity or hatred. He knew that Arjuna had only obeyed his guru. There was no other reason for hatred or conflict. Also, Drupada thought that all praise was due to the young hero who would overcome him, and that it would be his good fortune if such a hero became his son-in-law. And so, he had directed his spies to keep a watch on Arjuna. In the meanwhile, Drupada learnt about the visit of the Pandavas to Varanavata and their being burnt in the palace of Lac. But his spies had informed him that the Pandavas had not perished and that they were wandering in disguise. So he arranged the Swayamvara. He got a formidable bow made. Only a man of Arjuna's caliber could lift that bow. He fixed at a height almost touching the sky a fast revolving wheel. He fixed an artificial fish to it. He announced that his daughter would marry the man who could string the bow and hit the fish through the fast revolving wheel. His messengers carried the announcement to every kingdom and city and gave it wide publicity. Many kings and princes who had heard of Draupadi's matchless loveliness thronged Kampilya, the capital of Drupada. On the appointed day, they all came to the designated hall. Balarama and Krishna, the sons of Kunti's brother Vasudeva, also arrived to witness the Swayamvara. Other people also crowded into the hall to watch the Swayamvara. The Pandavas were seated among them. Drishtadhyumna brought his sister Draupadi to the hall, holding her by the hand. He told her the titles of the assembled kings. Duryodhana and the other Kauravas and Karna were also present. Pointing to the bow, Drishtadyumna addressed the assembly and announced, Draupadi will garland, the hero who can string the bow, fix 5 arrows and hit the target through the revolving wheel. There was a stir in the assembly. The assembled kings and princes were excited. One after the other, they stepped towards the bow. With what ostentation they walked towards it. Each would look around with hauteur. He would put his hand to the bow with haughtiness. With great airs, he would take hold of it. But that would be the end of his display. Many could not even lift the bow. Some succeeded in bending the bow partly, but it would knock them down. The others assembled there would burst into laughter. Those who fell down would walk out in disgrace with their heads bent. So, a number of kings bit the dust. Shishupala, the king of Chedi, Jarasandha of rare prowess, such Ithihasas and Maharathas were felled. Perhaps Karna could have succeeded, but Draupadi had already declared that she would not marry him because he was the son of a charioteer, and so no one could hit the target. Then Drishtadyumna turned to the assembly and said, Any one of you can try. Arjuna, sitting amidst the Brahmins, looked at Yudhishthira inquiringly. Yudhishthira nodded in consent. Arjuna got up, shook his upper cover, put it on his shoulder, and walked towards the bow. The people who saw a Brahmin striding towards the bow began murmuring among themselves. Some said, What has happened to this Brahmin? Why should he attempt this feat instead of sitting quietly? Some others said, What is wrong? He looks radiant. His arms are long. His shoulders are broad like those of warrior. There is dignity in his steps. It would not be surprising if he did succeed. Unmindful of the whispers around him, Arjuna went straight to the bow. Effortlessly, he lifted it and strung it. He fixed 5 arrows. Aiming with concentration, he let fly the arrows. They sped through the wheel and hit the target. In the winking of an eye, the fish fell to the ground. Auspicious musical instruments sounded at once. The group of Brahmins burst into loud shouts of joy. The people applauded joyfully. Draupadi came up to Arjuna, who was in the guise of a Brahmin, and garlanded him. The kings, who had been unable to hit the target and were disgraced, were amazed. They were also enraged that a Brahmin could hit the target. They thought that Drupada had planned to humiliate them. Together they attacked him. Bhima and Arjuna hastened to Drupada's rescue. Arjuna rained arrows on them with the very bow he had strung. Bhima pulled out a tree and, using it like a mace, laid about him. Unable to bear the shower of arrows and the pounding, Duryodhana and the other Kauravas and mighty monarchs like Shishupala and Jarasandha beat a retreat. The Pandavas returned home with Draupadi. Their mother was within the house. They cried out, Mother, we have brought unique arms today. As she was coming out, Kunti said, I am glad. Share the arms among you. She came out and looked. The arms that her sons had brought was a peerless beauty. What have I done? I asked them to share the arms, thought Kunti. Arjuna said, Let us obey our mother. Let us all 5 of us, marry Draupadi. The others agreed in order that the mother's word should not be disregarded. Draupadi too consented. Just then, Krishna and Balarama arrived. Krishna had recognized the Pandavas in the Swayamvara hall itself. He had no doubt that the man who hit the target and married Draupadi was Arjuna. He had followed the Pandavas. He was very happy to see his aunt Kunti. Krishna and Balarama touched the feet of Kunti. Then the Pandavas narrated all that had happened since they set out for Varanavata. They made enquiries about one another's welfare. Talking about each other's joys and sorrows, they experienced the happiness of the meeting and grieved as they recalled unhappy experiences. Drupada was on pins and needles to find out who his son-in-law was, so he sent Drishtadyumna. They all rejoiced when they learnt that the hero who was to marry Draupadi was Arjuna. Arrangements for the marriage went ahead briskly, but Drupada was troubled when he heard that all the 5 Pandavas would marry Draupadi. The great sage Vyasa arrived. He said to Drupada, "O king, Providence has ordained that Draupadi should have 5 husbands. In an earlier birth, she was a tapaswini. She waited long but could not find a worthy husband. She performed tapas to please Lord Shankara. When he appeared before her 5 times, she said, 'Grant me a husband.' Lord Shankara said, 5 princes of the Bharatha dynasty will marry you. The Pandavas are those 5 princes. Marry Draupadi to the 5 Pandavas without being troubled." Drupada celebrated the 5 marriages without misgivings. Draupadi married the 5 Pandavas with the fire god for witness.